What's up, curious youngsters? If we're always wasting time doing useless things or watching millions of videos, ending up with those weird YouTube recommendations, why not spend a few minutes on Mr. Curiosity learning 30 totally epic facts that you'll forget in about 10 minutes? But these aren't just any facts, they'll leave you completely amazed. For this and much more, these are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. If you're unsure about what to study or do for a living, you should know that a man named Sean Harrison has the profession of being an ice cream taster. Yes, he gets paid to eat ice cream. In his over 15 years as a professional, he has likely tried the most unusual ice cream flavors imaginable. And his tongue is so valuable that it's insured for $1 million. Wow, that's quite a job, Johnny Dose. In Canada, there is a man named James Randi who is known as the Witch Hunter. He is mainly responsible for exposing frauds about paranormal things and denies the supernatural so much that he even offered $1 million to anyone who could prove something supernatural to him. The offer lasted for more than 40 years and no one was ever able to claim the money. 3. One of the daggers with which Pharaoh Tutankhamun was buried was forged from iron from a meteorite. Yes, after many years. After its discovery in 1922 by the English archaeologist Howard Carter, it was confirmed that this dagger was made with extraterrestrial materials. I think it was the aliens. 4. In Mexico, there is a place called the Zone of Silence, where clocks don't work. Radios stop receiving signal and compasses spin violently when we place them on the ground. It's something like the Bermuda Triangle, but on Mexican land. One of the strangest and most terrifying insects that exist is a wasp, though many people don't believe it. The emerald wasp, in order to reproduce, stings insects like live cockroaches and lays its larvae in them, so that the larvae grow while feeding and turn the poor cockroach into a zombie. Despite the high cost, I'm intrigued, Sace. It sounds quite frightening. The Matryoshka diamond is unique, since it is hollow and inside there's another diamond, moving freely. It was discovered in Yakutia, Russia, many years ago, and its formation, so unusual, still hasn't found an explanation from any expert. 7. A rather terrifying fact is that a few years ago, in the United States, a woman who had a python as a pet started to notice that it wasn't eating as much, and that every day it was getting more attached to her. When she took it to the vet to see what was wrong with her pet, the vet told her the worst. The snake was measuring her body and was making room to eat her. What goes into the stunned owl? Come on, Ocho. If you thought that just by watching a few episodes of Art Attack you were already an artist, you were wrong. In 1850, the genius Italian sculptor Giovanni Straccia made this impressive work of art. He called it the Virgin of the Veil, and it was made entirely out of marble, making the effect of the veil incredible. 9. I hope you're not traumatized. But a slightly darker fact is that if a male lion becomes the leader of a pride, he is likely to kill all the cubs that are descendants of the former leader, all to make sure that all future offspring are his. But how horrible. 10. In modern inventions to save the world, we meet Phil the Pill, a machine that squeezes oranges, but not only gives us juice that's very, very fresh, but it also 3D prints biodegradable cups made from the peels of the same oranges and serves the juice in them. 11. With there being more than 7 billion people, we couldn't all be the same. And a pretty shocking fact is that Nong Shoyi is a boy who was born in China who was nicknamed the Cat Boy, since he has a mutation in his eyes that allows him to see in the dark with great clarity. That's definitely strange. Timmy Doshi. In the United States, if a dog needs a kidney transplant, it might be donated by a stray dog. But the only condition is that you adopt the donor dog. That way, both lives are saved. 13. Alex the parrot was a bird with whom a series of experiments were conducted during his life. This parrot managed to develop the intelligence of a 5-year-old child, and his abilities impressed any specialist. And the most curious thing of all is that his last words before he died were for his owner, to whom he said, "Be good, see you tomorrow." I love you 14. If you ever had an exam and suddenly your mind went blank as if you lost connection, it wasn't your fault, or, well, not entirely. Apparently the culprit is a hormone in your body called corticosterone, which is responsible for blocking information until the danger passes. 15. Although many people believe this, squid ink is not toxic to humans. In fact, it is used in the field of gastronomy, mainly to give a dark color to different dishes. For example, to color pasta. The mathematical genius who created the concept and the mathematical symbol for infinity, George Ferdinand Philip Cantor, died in an asylum after going insane trying to process the fact that something can be or is infinite. 17, in 2011, they found a tiger, a lion, and a bear in a drug dealer's house. So animal control managed to take them to a shelter located in the United States. And even though nature should say otherwise, these three live as friends inside the same enclosure. And they don't attack each other. Instead, they protect one another and never separate. Aren't they adorable, DS-Ocho? No. Despite what some may believe, this isn't from Stranger Things and it won't kill you. This is simply a fungus called Cletura cherry, also known as the devil's fingers. Yes, that's the correct name. This non-deadly fungus is mainly found in India. 19. Some countries in the world are so developed that, for example, in Canada, you can find that the water coming out of the tap, besides being drinkable, has higher quality standards than the bottled water sold in the same country. It's likely to save some plastic bottles. Well done, Mr. Canadian. 20. Do we all love The Simpsons, or at least have we all seen an episode or two at some point? Well, among the millions of curiosities we could find is that Matt Groening set the series in a small town called Springfield, because in the United States there are literally more than 10 towns with this name. Thus, he avoided setting the story in a specific location. 21. Even though it looks like it just came out of Harry Potter, this isn't a magical creature. It's actually a pretty epic type of dog. Shuki, known as the wolf dog. DNA tests show he's 87.5% gray wolf, 8.6% husky, and 3.9% German shepherd. And you thought Furulace was big? 22? India is one of the most polluted countries in the world. But the good thing is that it still has some people who care about the environment. And, for example, there is a restaurant in the city of Ambikapur that offers you a full meal if you bring in a kilo of plastic waste. 23. Chimpanzees are the primates most similar to humans, and just like us, they hug, kiss, tickle each other, and even laugh. And let's say this isn't so strange, since we share 99% of our DNA with these incredible creatures. 24. Gary Rogerson had heart problems, so he trained his cat Tommy to call 911 in case something happened to him. Uncertain if this would succeed, Gary had a heart attack and the police managed to save his life after receiving a silent call made by the kitten. Damn it, Johnny, I need that cat 25. A pretty random but interesting fact about different cultures around the world is that in 2008, a woman from Saudi Arabia asked for a divorce after her husband lifted the veil from her face while she was sleeping. Apparently, they had been married for 30 years, and he had never seen her face. 26. If you have a good memory, you might have this condition called hyperthymesia. It's a condition that affects only 25 people in the whole world. These people have the super ability to remember absolutely every detail of their lives, even the most insignificant things. 27. In 2015, one of the richest men in China, Jack Ma, bought 11,270 hectares of wilderness in New York for $23 million. He did all this in order to protect it from mining industries and keep it natural. That's great, 28. Koalas might be a bit like most humans since, according to a study, these little animals spend 95% of their lives eating or sleeping, while the other 5% is spent looking for a mate to keep the species alive. 29. In 2012, the legendary soccer player Ronaldinho lost his contract with Coca-Cola worth $1 million. Ronaldinho carelessly drank from a Pepsi can during a press conference. 30. You may recognize these small creatures if you've seen the movie Madagascar. They're called sifaka, and they only live on the island of Madagascar, just like many other animals exclusive to this exotic island. But the bad thing is that these poor primates are in great danger of extinction because of humans. Before I go, let me greet the subscribers. First, I want to send a huge greeting to Yusuf Angulo, whom I couldn't greet in the previous videos. Another big greeting to Sophie Saavedra Maragon. I also want to welcome Memes, Juegos, Deportes, y Más, who is new to the channel. Then I'm going to send a big happy birthday greeting to Andres Molina Guapo, whose birthday is in a few days. Another greeting for Marlo Figueroa, who wanted a little shout out. Also another greeting for Jonathan Antonio. Then another little shout out for Brian Steven Vivas. Lastly, a big shout out to Jiren San, who requested a greeting. One more greeting for Senor. Curiosity is the best. That's right, they're great subscribers. And the last greeting goes to Frank Sparra. Now, I really hope you liked it. Leave a like, comment anything you want. Don't forget to share the channel's video with your friends. There are more of us, Mr. Curiosity. Subscribe and click the bell to avoid missing new videos. I am Mr. Curiosity.